UFC Houston is tomorrow, and here are my picks. There are some pretty risky picks on here. This card is pretty hard to pick for, but nevertheless, I did it, so let's go. First fight of the night, Carla Judice versus Juliana Miller. Give me Carla Judice, guys. She's a huge favorite. This is going to be a pretty low-level women's MMA fight. It's 5-2 versus 4-3, but a unique thing about Carly is that every single one of her pro wins come by way of knockout, which I don't think any other woman in the UFC can say. So yeah, I'm taking Carly probably by knockout. Next up, Yadier Del Valle versus Jordan Leavitt. Jordan Leavitt's been in the UFC for a bit, has kind of an up and down record, 12-3, and Yadier Del Valle is 10-0, hasn't faced the best competition. In his last fight, he had that whole betting, fight fixing, rigged scandal, but I guess he decided it wasn't his fault. He's back and a -400 favorite. I am picking Del Valle here, the favorite, but honestly, I don't think it's super worth to bet on him because I think Leavitt does still have a pretty solid chance, but yeah, I think Del Valle is winning this. Next up, Jean-Paul Lebosniani versus Phil Rowe. I'm picking Jean-Paul, guys, in his UFC debut. Phil Rowe has been in the UFC for quite a bit, 11-6 record, and has fought some pretty solid guys, has beaten a couple okay guys, but I think Lebosniani is going to take this one here in his debut, man. He's going to make a statement, maybe even find that knockout, which would be a huge statement. Phil does have a height advantage, and he missed weight by 1 pound, the only fighter to miss weight. Maybe the cut was a little weird, I don't know. So yeah, I think Jean-Paul's going to win this one. He's only a -205 favorite, so I think the odds on him are pretty good. Next up, Punahele Soriano versus Ramiz Brahimaj. I'm taking the slight favorite Brahimaj here. I think Punahele has, a very inconsistent record. He wins some, he loses some. Brahimaj is on a good little streak, so yeah, guys, I'm picking Brahimaj here. Next up, Nora Cornell versus Jocelyn Edwards. I'm picking Jocelyn Edwards, guys. She's looked pretty good in her last couple fights, and Nora's what, like 2-2 in the UFC off the top of my head, so yeah, give me Edwards here. Next up, Alden Correa versus Luis Garule. I got Correa, guys. I think Garule's on like a 3-fight losing streak or something like that, 2-fight losing streak, and Alden is a big favorite. Not much to say there. I'm picking Correa. Next up, I'm picking the underdog Ode Osbourne versus Alibi Idris. This is a bit of a risky one. Idris was the runner-up in the Ultimate Fighter. He lost the final. So yeah, I got Ode here. I think Ode is going to find maybe that late knockout. He has a very, back and forth record with the UFC. He's 13-9 overall, which is a pretty terrible record. But hey, man, he's like the Terrence McKinney of flyweight. I'm a pretty big fan of him. I could be a little bit biased, but I'm picking Ode here. I think Ode could get this one done. Next up, I'm picking Carlos Leal versus Chidi Njokuani. Carlos is like a near even or maybe a slight favorite, slight underdog in some places. So honestly, guys, I think it's a little bit of a risky one to bet on, but Carlos is pretty good. He's lost to Rinat Fakhretdinov, who's very good, beat Alex Morono, who's pretty good, and lost to Muslim Salikov, who, just fluke KO'd him. Chidi's 25-11. He could pull this one off, but I'm riding with Leal here. Next up, Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. I'm picking the underdog here just because, man, this is such a 50-50 fight. Both these guys aren't very good, but I'm a little bit more impressed with Zach Reese. Michel Pereira, has lost a couple in a row now, but I don't think anyone should even bet on this fight at all because anything could happen. Someone could get fluked. Michel's pretty crazy. Zach is pretty crazy. I'm taking Zach. I think he maybe even finds that late KO, but yeah, it's a tough one to pick for. Next up, Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. He's only a moderate favorite against a guy who's taken out in like 2 days notice, which shows that Harrell is pretty legit, maybe like a week's notice actually. They're both 11-0. Harrell was supposed to fight in the UFC a few years back against Jack Della Maddalena, but had a lot of health issues, and now he came back to fighting and has looked pretty good. Jacoby has a decent little height and reach advantage on him. I'm picking Jacoby here. I think Jacoby is still developing himself to be a really big name, so I think this fight could be a good little win for him to get him up there. Next up, Spivak versus Delia. I got Delia here. He's a small favorite against Spivak. Spivak has been in the UFC for quite a while, and Delia is only 1-1. Spivak is a little bit over the hill in my opinion. I think Delia just finds that one-shot KO. It's heavyweight after all. Then next up, Melquizael Costa versus Dan Ige. Guys, it's going to be a fun fight. A little bit hard to pick for, but I am a huge fan of Costa. Dan Ige is pretty inconsistent. He could win on any given night, but he also could lose on any given night. He's lost to some good guys, has beaten some okay guys, and Costa's on a 5-fight win streak against some decent names. I got Costa here, guys. I think he's going to punch himself a spot in the rankings with this one, get up there probably by the end of this year. He could be in a pretty good spot, maybe top 5 if he keeps winning. He is super active, so that's why I'm a huge fan of him. He's really entertaining, really dynamic. I got Costa, guys. And in the co-main event, guys, guys, Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic. I was flip-flopping this for a while. Jeff Neal is pretty old. Uros Medic has 100% a knockout rate, 12 wins. All of those wins are by knockout and 3 losses. He has lost to some not so great guys, which makes me a little bit concerned, such as Punahil Soriano pretty recently, but he's on like a 3-fight win streak now, just knocked out Muslim Salikov. Jeff Neal, you know, he loses a lot of fights, but he just fights the best of the best. He's a textbook gatekeeper, but he is still pretty good, man. He has a lot of power. I think Medic has a slight power advantage over him, but I think I'm siding with Neal here, guys. TikTok kind of convinced me to pick Neal. Neal's been in there for a while, but if Uros pulls it off, I wouldn't be super surprised. So if you want to sprinkle some underdog money on Uros, be my guest, but I'm picking Neal. Then in the main event, Strickland versus Hernandez. I think this is a pretty even fight. I am going with Hernandez here. I would never really root for Strickland. I'm not a huge fan of him, but besides that, I still am picking Hernandez here. He's on a nice win streak against some not so amazing names, right? Only a couple ranked guys in that win streak. Strickland's obviously been at the top for a while. He has some good wins, some decent losses, but I just think Hernandez, it's his time, man, to get that title shot. I think he will win this one. I think he'll put the pace on, use the grappling. Strickland will probably stuff a couple takedowns. I think it'll be a close fight. I think it probably even goes to decision. I think Strickland is going to protest the decision after he loses, but I got Hernandez, guys, probably like a 48-47, 49-46. Maybe a judge gives it to Strickland. Maybe we see a split. I think it will be a close one, guys, but I do got Hernandez. I believe in him. I think that he has everything in his power to pull this off. The only thing that gets me a little bit concerned is that Strickland has a pretty solid take defense, and he used a lot of those teeps to the body, and Hernandez has been hurt to the body before, but I think Hernandez is a whole new fighter than he was back then. He's 15-2. Strickland's 29-7. I think Hernandez is going to win this one, guys. But let me know, are these picks awesome? Are they terrible? Let me know in the comments. See ya.